Hello, guys. Hello. Cheers. You will have to bear with me for a little more. But yes, the room is open. There's a raise hand option if you want to speak. उसके अलावा क्या है? उसके अलावा just have fun, just have a good time. Uh, it's a good time to start. Everybody here, I think, is a member. So why the hell do I need to even? And Samruddhi, by extension, becomes a member because it's a referral. So no need to make it too formal. Okay. Homebound. Question, then we can keep it rolling and you can continue wherever you want to. What was your emotion when you finished the film, or when, like, did it leave you with despair? Did it leave you with hope? What was the emotion when you finished the film?
मैं बोलूं क्या?
Yes, please go ahead.
एक्चुअली मैंने ना आर्टिकल जो मतलब आर्टिकल भी पढ़ा था मूवी देखने से पहले। तो मेरी एक्सपेक्टेशंस मतलब एंड मतलब मूवी तो बहुत ही अच्छी है, लेकिन मुझे कैसा लगता है कि मतलब जैसे हमारा टाइटल था ऑस्कर वाला, तो मुझे ऐसा लगा कि बिकॉज ऑफ एंडिंग हम ये शायद ऑस्कर तक पहुंचेगी लेकिन नहीं जीतेगी, क्योंकि उसको पॉजिटिव एंड देना जरूरी नहीं था। मतलब मेरे हिसाब से रियलिटी में ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि वो पढ़ने चला गया है और उसका घर अच्छा हो गया है। सो रियलिटी इज टोटली डिफरेंट, कि वो हमको पूरा इमोशंस के साथ मतलब पूरी मूवी में ले लिए कि इसकी लाइफ में इतने स्ट्रगल हैं और हमें भी इतना रियलाइज हुआ। पूरा मूवी एकदम बेस्ट था, लेकिन टुवर्ड्स एंड मुझे लगा कि उसको रियलिटी जो थी वही रखनी चाहिए थी, कि
Hmm.
रियलिटी में उनकी लाइफ ऐसे चेंज नहीं हुई है कि वो पढ़ने नहीं गया है कॉलेज, उसकी ऐसी कंडीशन नहीं है। और उसका घर भी अभी नहीं बना है, वैसा ही है उसका घर। तो मुझे लगा कि ये थोड़ा मतलब धर्मा का इफेक्ट हुआ कि क्या पता नहीं, लेकिन अगर थोड़ा रियलिटी बेस रखते तो ज्यादा अच्छा था।
Interesting. I remember during a conversation with Shazia Iqbal, who made Tadak 2, also produced by Dharma. If you remember the ending of that film, people were constantly saying, why does it have like a happy-ish ending, where the brother of Tripti Dimri suddenly is giving a pen to the, and there's like a truce they're happening. So ऐसा थोड़ी होता है असलियत में, इतना आपने conveniently कैसे कर दिया? And her thought process was interesting, saying that we have to leave people with hope. What are your thoughts? I think it's a very good direction to go to, guys. आप लोग का बाकी लोगों का thoughts क्या है on the ending of the film and whether it should be hopeful or real? Yeah, Shweta, please.
I don't know. I think obviously it leaves you. It's a very tearjerker kind of a movie. It leaves you like broken in some way, but I think it's hope like despite of despair. सब कुछ अच्छा तो नहीं हुआ, at least according to me. Towards the end of the movie, a guy died. Like there were two protagonists. 50% of the protagonist is dead. That infects a lot of the other relationships of the other characters as well. The parents lose their son, the sister loses the brother, the friend loses the friend, the love interest loses her, soulmate of types. I think the end is actually, I liked the end in the sense that, even though everything is kind of somewhere, there's a downfall or like there's a dip into their lives, it still shows that despite all of that, you still have to keep moving on. That is life. You have to, the day goes on. You have to live. So, how do you make the best out of it? And in fact, I think if he wouldn't go to college. It's almost like disrespecting his friends' wishes because he had filled out the college form for him. So I think he was just respecting his friends, ideology for him. The Goodwill Hunting का जो ये है, that line that if you stay here, I'm going to be so disappointed in you. Those 10 seconds are like the loveliest part of my day, where I really hope that you achieve your potential, and I'm assuming that is almost on the similar lines. So yeah, I thought it was a great ending. I have no notes. Yeah, it was hope despite despair. So
Hope despite despair could be an interesting title for the film, no? Like in a certain variation of it. Yeah. Anurag, please.
No, I am a stickler for hope. So I am going to go for. I love the fact that despite him having passed away, his friend having passed away, he still goes and visits the Adda. He still does those things that remind him of him. Quite similar to Vicky Kaushal's arc in Masan, which was basically dukh khatam nahi hone wala, so might as well put in an effort and actually I don't know, work towards change. I see that similarity here, and yeah, I think it does leave you with a heavy heart, but yeah, it's bittersweet. It's not despair entirely, I feel, which I think works out very well for the movie.
Hmm. Anyone else? Any thoughts? Any thoughts on the ending or how you would have approached the ending probably, or like, आपको, what did you feel when the film ended? Like, was it like there was an element of guilt in my case? I don't know why. It had something to do with the fact that I've grown up in Surat. My family comes from the owner's side, of course, but the way things are affected in Surat, how it's shown, is something I have first-hand experienced. Uh, till it's something that has affected our family till today, financially speaking. Like just before the session, also my dad was talking about it. So yeah, so but there was an element of guilt because there is somebody from the other side, so almost in that way. So when that happened, and when we were at a point where we couldn't do anything, uh, yeah, like, so just was there guilt in anybody's mind? I don't know. That was the case, especially for me.
मतलब मुझे ये कहना था कि अगर हम एक्टर्स का भी देखें, हम लोगों को तो मतलब गिल्ट तो होता ही है, लेकिन जैसे इनका इंटरव्यू है आफ्टर होम बाउंड, जितने भी इंटरव्यूज है, ईशान के हो, जानवी के हो, कि मतलब इन लोगों के इंटरव्यूज में भी दिख रहा है कि इनका पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू कितना चेंज हुआ है बिकॉज ऑफ दिस प्रोसेस ऑफ मूवी। कि मतलब वो लोग हर बार, मतलब एक बार तो कोई एक्टर ऐसे बोलता है कि मैं ग्रेटफुल हूँ मतलब अपनी लाइफ के लिए। तो मतलब ये चीज तो है कि ये कुछ ना कुछ मतलब डेली बेसिस पे हम लोगों से कैसे बात कर रहे हैं, हमारा बिहेवियर कैसा है, उन सब पे चैलेंज तो किया ही है कि हम अपनी लाइफ में कहाँ हैं और हमारे लिए लाइफ कितनी इजी है। तो उसके लिए जो है मतलब पॉइंट, मतलब हर किसी को शायद मतलब मूवी बंद करके एक बार तो ये हुआ ही होगा। तो मतलब ये हमारे सामने एक्टर्स में ही दिख रहा है कि इन लोगों में भी ये प्रोसेस के बाद कितना चेंज दिख रहा है।
Interesting. Um, I am very curious what you guys feel about the title of the film, uh, Homebound. Matlab, did you did you figure out when you were watching the film in the first half in the direction it was going, or what the title would actually mean? Like there was a constant conversation in my house, for example, when the film was happening कि ये homebound क्या नाम है, homebound क्यों नाम है, क्या तो चलो हुआ ही था कि इंग्लिश के नाम क्यों रखा है, but why is it homebound? Did you, any of you, feel like that? And if you had a chance to, what would you do to have like an alternate title, if at all? Amya?
सो होमबाउंड मेरे को मूवी देखते टाइम आई डिड नॉट थिंक अबाउट द टाइटल, बट नाउ एज आई थिंक अबाउट इट इट माइट बी बिकॉज जैसे दे आर सो कनेक्टेड टू लाइक द सिस्टम that constantly tries to just put them in one tragic, you know, like suffering kind of a thing into another, and it never stops. And like whatever they try, कुछ भी कर लेते हैं, फिर भी फिर भी उनको वो मिलता नहीं है जो एक्चुअली चाहते हैं, एंड दे आर लाइक स्टिल दे आर इन ग्राउंड जीरो एट द एंड ऑफ द डे. And I think like that thing probably means homebound in some ways. That, you know, yeah. Alternate ending title, though I don't have much. And I felt, I was not able to speak for a while after this film, and it was quite heavy for me, very, very heavy. Uh, you know, I just want to say that this is one such film that every human being should watch, and irrespective of whether they are cinema fans or like not, but this is like essentials of life itself. एज यू नो अकीरा कुरोसावा ने जैसे एक टाइम पे बोला था कि सत्यजीत रे की फिल्म्स दे आर लाइक सन एंड मून और समथिंग लाइक दैट, दिस इज आल्सो इन दैट कैटेगरी फॉर मी, ऐसा मुझे लगता है।
So beautiful and a very big thing to say, man. It shows how much the film probably affected you. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else, guys? So, Shweta, the question was essentially about the name of the film, and like while watching the film or while knowing there's a film like Homebound out, and when you're watching the first half, essentially, did you figure out what it would mean essentially? Like, why is it Homebound? And if you had to, would there be a different title you would try? That's the question.
I mean, if no one's going, I unfortunately knew what the movie was about before even watching the movie. I read like multiple articles, so I knew what the title kind of meant, even like watching the first half or whatever. Alternate title, I don't know. Spider-Man, Far From Home, I don't know.
What? Oh my God. Did you really just say that? Okay, this is Amya, please make sure this becomes a reel. Uh, guys, I'll just take a moment to say hello to Sarvik. Sarvik is my buddy from childhood. He's joined us for the first time today. Sarvik, we are in the flow of the session. We are discussing about the film, and there's another breakout room. And whenever you feel like speaking, just there's a raise hand option. You can use that and just speak your ठीक है. Right now, we're in the context of how you felt when the film ended and what you think about the title and all of that. So, if you feel like it, you can jump in and continue. Anurag, please go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie sort of reminds me of the Chloe Zhao movie 2020 called 2021 called Nomadland.
I remember
Nomadland
you
is
really liked
very
it.
Yeah, I really liked it. Also, Nomadland is much more melancholic than this one. But one quote that would fit here from Nomadland is, I think, dedicated to the ones who had to depart. See you down the road. I think that sort of fits in this movie. Uh, but yeah, I don't have any alternate title. Spider-Man, though,
Did
I
you
don't
just
know.
tough one?
Chandan will return in Avengers Doomsday.
We all hope.
Yes. I mean, you know, right? You know you have a task at hand now. I mean, please go ahead. Yeah, your turn. Go ahead.
So my alternative title, not my original thing, I read on Letterboxd, so सबसे ऊपर है One Battle After Another, and that is like the most fitting title for this film in my opinion. So yeah, I just got reminded of that right now. So
Yeah, I understand. I understand. Because my Savik is also. I'm not putting you on a spot, Savik, but I was just mentioning some time back about because the film is somewhat set in Surat. Also, there's some kind of feeling that you get, which is sort of uh, like something we would understand more than people who probably aren't from here. Of course, we would be from the owner side of things when COVID was happening, but a lot of things we also saw happening at that time. What was your impression of how Surat was probably represented in the film?
No, very good point because, uh, hi everybody, first of all. So yeah, good point because my father, he was helping out Bihar workers who were stuck here to get trains because so many people were just walking to their villages and people just had to make it home. So a lot of it that was shown in the movie seemed very realistic because even then I was in Bihar during COVID, but I used to be talking to my father and he was here trying to get all the laborers to the trains, trying to figure out ways where all the workers here, textile workers, could just make it home somehow. But there was just no way that it could have been done in a, I don't know, organized manner, I guess, because it was just chaos. Nobody knew what was going on. And so it shows realities, definitely. I feel like how people were stuck here. And of course, like there are most of the workers that we see in all the factories in Surat are from uh, say Bihar or UP, and they all leave their hometowns just so that they can make a little bit of money here. So that definitely resonated. And I'd say this is the first time, well, not first time, after a long time, this was the movie that actually made me cry too. But I'll also give another title. I'll say Unfulfilled. I feel like both of their dreams, everything that they wanted to achieve in life, it was just unfulfilled. And even Homebound, I don't know why it's Homebound, because you're like, do they ever make it home, or to their idea of the home that they want to create for themselves? And I'm not gonna lie, मुझे तो लगा था कि end में they were both gonna die at the highway. So I was expecting the worst case scenario. So it was better than what I expected, the ending.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that perspective. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I was wondering if we can speak about the elements of intersectionality, like the caste and religion, other elements that we know is very something that Neeraj Gewan, the director, brings a lot in all his films, be it Masan or the short film that he made once for Ajit Dastans, I think. So yeah, so he's done a lot in that capacity. Uh, when do we know whether whenever there are certain identities being mentioned or added, they are not tokenistic, and when do we know they are appropriate or properly represented? When is it like आपके हिसाब से कब वो जमता है आपको, कब वो खड़कता है आपको? And in the film, did it feel like ये sprinkle क्यों किया जा रहा है, or did it feel like, because I at times I honestly would say it felt like ये कर रहे हैं क्या ये लोग वो चीज जो होता है ना एक, I don't know. I just want to know what you guys think. Yes, Shweta, please. You're on mute.
I don't think it was sprinkled like unnecessarily. I had that view previously when I used to watch like previous movies where I was like, "Arey, ऐसा थोड़ी ना होता है." A sarkari officer doesn't actually outright say कि, yeah, these guys actually take up all of our jobs or all of our merited positions. But we don't know the reality. We live in a very, very privileged world, very privileged world. When we actually talk to people, let's say, you go to your native towns, like your parents' native towns, and you see that kind of discrimination outright happening, and everyone is just, accepting it as if it's very, very normal. And when you see that on movies, obviously you feel like, oh, this is misrepresented. But I don't think it's represented enough, honestly. Because anyone who has seen that will be like, yeah, ये होता है, but इससे और भी बहुत सारी चीजें होती है जो maybe is not appropriate for the bigger screen, or maybe not everyone is able to digest. So I don't think, for me it was not that unnecessary in that sense. The other thing, I know obviously cast is a big picture of that entire movie, but I loved that Chandan's sister also had a point of view to say in that movie, and said that yes, all of this is happening. Yes, your life is horrible, blah, blah, blah. But you don't understand that from my perspective, at least you're getting the chance to go and study. Because if there was a choice between you and me, our parents have chosen you to be the flag bearer of the family and to actually take it forward. I didn't even get that choice. All I had to do was, just whatever schooling that I finished was like managed to finish, and then immediately like start to work. हमें सिर्फ तुमको हम सुनने का हक मिलता है चंदन सुनने का हक मिलता
Autocorrect.
है okay got it. Yeah, but yeah, I love that he even represented that, but in a very, very small manner, no matter what. I also liked that Chandan and Jami Kapoor's character, I don't remember her name, but Sudha. Um, they're both Dalits, but their families, or like at least those characters, have separate starts from their backgrounds. Right? He very much clearly says that yes, you are also from a Dalit family, but you have had a head start in life because your father already has that government job, which I am now like I'm one generation behind in that progress that my generation wants to make. So I have to take certain steps that maybe my kids will benefit from it, not if not me. College is not an option for me. I'm going to drop out because right now my priority is something else. Yeah. So.
Sarvik?
probably happens was shown, if not lesser than what happens in reality. And it just current affairs का एक issue ध्यान में आता है. I don't know if you guys saw about this 14-year-old kid. He's from backward caste too, but sorry, OBC. But he was I don't know, he got threats and also FIRs against him because he used to make videos talking about caste, roads, and he just questioned the UP government basically. But that kid is now facing threats from like upper caste communities and also UP politicians and FIRs against a 14-year-old kid because he asked questions about caste.
Anurag, you want to add something? Please go ahead.
Yeah, I love how the movie creates a parallel between social distancing and ostracization with discrimination. All their life, they've been facing this. Shoaib has been facing religion-based discrimination. Chandan has been facing identity-based, whatever, identity-based or religion-based, everything. And then at the end, they die because of ostracization again, which is social distancing. And if you look at it, I think we've been socially distancing a sect of, or many sects of people since the start. I love how they have amalgamated these two themes and sort of presented it. It felt very natural, and I don't think I noticed it the first time when I was watching it. I think I observed. I sort of, yeah, look, wow, this looks very similar. The two themes. So yeah, that is one thing that I felt was very well done. Yeah.
Yeah, it almost felt like one led to the other being worse for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, really interestingly parallel that. Yeah, thank you. Arti, you wanna go ahead?
मतलब अगर हम नीरज के पुराने वर्क भी देखें तो गीली पूची है, तो मतलब उनका जो कास्ट का रिप्रेजेंटेशन होता है वो बहुत ही सही वे में होता है और वो हमें अनकंफर्टेबल फील कराता ही है। और मुझे लगा कि इसमें भी मुझे ऐसा कोई अननेसेसरी नहीं लगा मूवी में कि कहाँ पे कुछ मतलब ज्यादा दिखाया है कि यहाँ पे ये जरूरत नहीं थी। बट अगर हम वो कैरेक्टर से कनेक्ट हो पाए, जैसे कि वो अपनी सरनेम बोलने से पहले पॉज कर देता है चंदन, कि उसके लिए इतना डिफिकल्ट है, मतलब वो जब उसको ऑफिसर पूछता है तो मतलब ये सारे सीन्स हैं, तो ये जो दिखाता है कि इन लोगों को कितना डिफिकल्ट, मतलब कितना डिफिकल्ट लगता है इतना ये सब एक्सेप्ट करना। तो उसमें मुझे मूवी में ऐसा कुछ अननेसेसरी नहीं लगा। जैसे नीरज दिखाते हैं मूवीज में कास्ट का वैसा ही था। और और तो ये अनुराग का पॉइंट मुझे मतलब जब वो बोला तब मुझे सही लगा कि जो सोशल डिस्टेंस है और वही एंड में मतलब। और और एक चीज कुछ बोलनी थी याद।
कोई बात नहीं। the age old saying of abstract, लिख के रख लो। कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं। we'll come back to it, Arti, कोई बात नहीं। Amya, please go ahead.
Yeah.
So about the representation part, I think much more of representation is needed. And I saw this interview of Neeraj Gewan with Martin Scorsese. सबको देखना चाहिए वो चीज, 30 minutes. And in that he said one thing, that whatever work he does, he has to make it personal and he has to somehow उसके बिना you know वो होता नहीं है कि राइटिंग में वो हो पाए। एंड आई थॉट दैट दिस वाज अ मच बेटर रिप्रेजेंटेशन बिकॉज द कैरेक्टर्स वर सो वेल फ्लेश्ड आउट। इसमें वो टोकन नहीं है कि इसको भी एड्रेस कर दिया उसको भी। दिस हैपेंस एंड इट इज सो लाइक वो स्टोरी के अंदर इतना अच्छे से वीव हो जाता है और उनके रियलिटीज को बताता है, विच ओनली आई थिंक अ फिल्म मेकर like Neeraj Khewan could have done to bring so much depth, so much like ऐसा लगता है कि आप वहां पे हो उस मोमेंट पे एंड यू आर फीलिंग दैट एंजाइटी, यू आर फीलिंग दैट तुमको डर लग रहा है। like when that whole conversation happened between Chandan and that government officer, उस मोमेंट पे डर लगता है सच्ची में कि ये क्या बोल रहा है। वी नो दैट वो उसका कुछ नहीं कर सकता, बट स्टिल देर इज अ पैल्पेबल fear from Chandan's side and he represented it so well, I think, कि वही है, बहुत अच्छे से रिप्रेजेंट किया बेसिकली।
Yeah,
सॉरी
yeah.
कोई आप
No, no, not at all. Um, I had a thought about. Uh, this happened with me for the. So I was when I was seeing the film and what we were discussing also about the tokenization. I was used to stay with this postdoc fellow, and he used to study biology and gender and something very interesting. And उनसे मैं एक बार बात कर रहा था कि या सो ही वाज क्यूअर एंड हुआ क्या कि मैं उनसे पूछा कि यार आजकल ना क्या हो गया बड़ा ही ऐसे मतलब दिखाने के लिए डाल देते हैं कि अरे ये होमोसेक्सुअल है अरे आज के दिखा देते हैं ऐसे कर देते हैं ये यार अच्छे से नहीं करते हैं नुआंस डालते नहीं है ऐसे नहीं वैसे नहीं एंड हिज पॉइंट वाज ब्रदर for me growing up there was no reference point so the fact that even seeing a Shakti Kapoor, for example, doing that kind of a weird character, or anybody like that, even that made me feel like, oh, अरे है मेरे जैसा कोई मतलब किसी भी लेवल एनिमेटेड होगा बट कोई तो है मतलब सो माय रेफरेंस गाने नहीं है मेरे लिए भाई तू सोच रहा है लाइक ही वाज सेइंग दैट टू मी कि मेरे लिए गाने नहीं है सो अगर टोकेनाइजेशन हो रही है ना होने दो आई एम ओके एटलीस्ट लोग देख तो रहे हैं उसी बहाने एटलीस्ट लोग को पता तो चल रहा है कि है भाई लोग ऐसा तो नहीं है कि नहीं है so even if it is happening I don't mind there's been enough tokenization of other identities so might as well happen for mine टाइम के साथ में सुधरती है चीजें शुरू से सब परफेक्ट और जरूरी नहीं है and I'm okay with it at least it's happening and that changed my perspective completely on how I see tokenization in movies or in characters keep at least it's happening at least it's in conversation so yeah matlab, it just opened my mind at that time when I heard about it I am very curious to know there was this film called Portrait of a Lady on Fire जो मैंने काफी साल पहले देखी थी मैंने एशेट में डिस्कशन किया उसके बारे में it has nothing to do with male perspective, men, or what, anything like that. It's nothing. But I felt very, very deeply when I saw the film. And not from a point of sympathy, but I felt something and I don't know what it was. I was not relating to the characters, but I was able to really get it for some reason. Uh, is it appropriate for somebody who is not from that background, like in this case, in this film, to feel what these people are feeling or to relate to any part of their journeys? Yes, Avi. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can show as much empathy, of course. You can try and put yourselves in their places, but it might not be to the same extent of how the movie moves us compared to how it moves actually someone from an SCST or OBC cast. So I think there is probably more conversation to be had about like how it actually moved people it was trying to represent or address. Uh, but it definitely you can have empathy, and that's also the filmmaking and the whole writing. Like you feel for all the characters that you're seeing, and you feel for them in a way that the writer and director want you to.
Right, but is it all right if I just as a guy am able to relate to the person? This guy is trying to strive for better things, and I'm able to feel that. Will it be appropriate for me to feel that way and relate, not just empathize, but also relate to somebody's journey coming from that, not to a complete extent, but somewhat.
I don't know. It's tricky because I feel like I'll give an example of like a black person. My roommate back in the US, he is black. I had a conversation with him. I'm like, I understand these things about you. I relate a lot. Like being a brown person in the US, in a majority white college, and you being black. I was like, I was able to have that conversation with him. But even then, we were both like, there are still things that even though we might relate, you won't fully understand how it is for a black person to feel that and what kind of looks or stereotypes a black person gets compared to a brown person. So even there, like it stops at a certain point because the stereotypes are always at the back of people's minds. So there will be like
Okay,
microaggressions that we will never face, but those people, like they will.
okay, yeah, makes sense. Amir, please go ahead.
So I think that he like you also felt about that thing. So I think the first half really it made a way to do that through their friendship, and that was the whole point, that people should feel their thing. That is when it works. And it if you felt that, then it probably worked wonders. So yeah, बस
Yeah,
इतना ही
fair,
बोलूं.
fair. I am very curious. I mean, we have spoken about cast. How about we speak about the casting of the film? What are your thoughts on the casting of the film? About Janvi Kapoor, about Ishan Khattar being there, or the others being there? Like, what were there any favorite characters? Were there any characters that didn't make sense to you, or any scenes specific you want to talk about? Room is open for that right now. Amaya, please.
Chandan's mother,
Oh, dude.
I don't know
Yes.
her name. She should be given credit, like first top level पे वही आनी चाहिए. Oh my God, such a moving performance, very well cast, and like no words to say.
Which was
So
your
yeah,
favorite scene with her?
the वो जूते वाला scene, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
That just broke me. Like the film in the second half, it breaks you multiple times. Like एक इंसिडेंट हो रहा है, फिर से रोना आता, like it's just, it does not stop. So yeah.
Yeah. Anurag, please go ahead. Anurag, we can't hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, so a lot of people have a problem with Janvi Kapoor being cast in the movie, but I don't know, I don't see it. Like she was fine, didn't have a big role, didn't have a small role, did okay with what like her assignment. But yeah, top performance definitely the mother, and you know what, everyone. I think these actors I saw for the first time, except from Chandan's dad, I've seen him before. Can't remember the name of the actor, but there's one more member in the cast from a very favorite movie of Abstract Members that I don't know if you guys noticed. I've watched it too many times. The guy
Metro?
who comes in, no, no, oh no, I have the movie. Yeah, Homebound. The guy who comes and tells Chandan कि अगले साल होगा ये, the police station is shut down, and yeah, that's actually Bodhan from Piku, and it kind of blew my mind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he was a good. I recognized him from his accent. But yeah, no, I think both of the friends, both of the protagonists, Ishan Khattar, great acting, breaking down Utho Be, तुम्हारे बिना कैसे करेंगे, the entire scene, amazing. Yeah.
Well, he's one of those that I have really high hopes for, man. I know. I
Hmm.
hope he has a slightly more successful trajectory than his brother. Brother is great, but like just in terms of success rate and all of that, you know. Yeah, I just hope that happens for him.
Even Chandan's, I remember, I don't remember the actor's name. He was there in Mardani, I think, as one of the villains. Mardani
Yeah.
Part 2, I think that's all that I know about.
विशाल जेठ.
Yeah. I can't see him play his eyes maybe, but I can't imagine him playing a villain, dude. He's such a
Oh,
softie in the movie.
bro, he was
Yeah.
insane
Yeah.
in Mardani, scary in Mardani.
Yeah.
I think he's been in a lot of TV serials in the past.
He
Uh,
played Akbar, I think, for the longest time in Jodha Akbar.
Oh.
So, which is why
mm,
I was expecting him to be the Muslim kid, because I had like, I'd grown up seeing him as Akbar. I know it's on me. So I put out that bias out there.
Yeah, but he's a good Jew, right? He's a good Jew, and I love when I listen to him in interviews. He's very, very, बहुत ही sweet बंदा लगता है यार. Yeah.
also that guy, what's his name? The sales head department का. Apparently he's a motivational speaker. वो Instagram पे आ रहा है मेरे पिछले 4-5 दिन से.
अरे he is,
Some
I think, the Big Boss voice, ना?
I have no
No?
idea. But he's talking about some, I don't know, sales strategies and I don't know what. And like, bro, तू fourth wall क्यों break कर रहा है ऐसे? But yeah, it was, I don't know. That guy was great. Even the guy who says कि मेरा बोतल मत भरो तुम. You feel such hatred for him. Yeah, great casting. Yeah.
This guy, क्या? This Taplu guy. Hey.
Hey, you don't do that here.
This
Yeah,
one,
that
this
guy,
one,
that guy.
ना?
Yeah, yeah, that
अरे
guy.
this
Yeah.
is Big Boss का voice. This guy.
I do not know what to do with that information. Sorry.
Bro, this is abstract pop culture quiz question. He remember it forever now. Shweta, please go ahead.
Big Boss आपको देखना चाहता अनुराग. Yeah. Also maybe like too much into method acting if he's doing sales strategies outside the movie, right? Yeah.
That was his
Um,
audition.
yeah, yeah. I don't know about like favorite characters. Obviously, Amir spoke about like he took my point away about the mother, her breakdown when she's. I mean, you cannot express that into words. That was like, the movie, as someone said, one battle after the other. Amir only said that actually. It's a slap in your face constantly, or like, a stab in your heart constantly. And that was like the last stab. That was, I think the build up to that was amazing. But I remember one more character, which was kind of like opposite of everyone else, whatever they were doing. That watchman who was sitting there, राइट ही इज लाइक मैं यहाँ से नहीं जा सकता बिकॉज अगर मैं चला जाऊंगा तो कोई और मेरी नौकरी नौकरी ले लेगा ही डज नॉट हैव द ऑप्शन टू गो होम ही डज नॉट हैव द ऑप्शन टू मेक दैट जर्नी होम I don't know, that kind of that sentence made me realize that yes, obviously we are focusing on these two protagonists, but there were so many other people who had their own majburis, their own constraints of how to deal with this situation which no one else had dealt with. uh, uh, in that case, maybe even like these guys are privileged enough to have health or something beside their um, on their background, right? Like they have a family to go back to, or Chandan has a sister who also wants. So that is still privilege that you don't see, and then immediately when you see someone else, from their eyes, they have pity for this person, or even that family was left stranded. It's a man, the little daughter, and the wife who was unfortunately coughing. Uh, you see it from their gaze that they also were not in the most I don't know, non-privileged situation. There was someone who had it worse than them as well. It kind of gives you that lens. So these two things, I think, they struck with me. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anybody else, guys? Please go ahead. And also, the question now extends to which was your favorite scene, or the way it was shot, or just the impact it had to you, impressed you the most. We can extend the conversation to that. And would love to see, the others also, in case they would love to join the conversation. Oh, please, please. Amir, go ahead.
But I have like many thoughts about this.
Please
अभी
go ahead.
भी एक आया कि there is particular shot on the highway where like वो लाइट वगैरह लगा है और वो चींटी जैसे लग रहे थे, like they were walking like ants, and like it was such a impactful frame in my opinion. It was such an impactful, वो the way it is shot, it is just हर चीज जो है, it just shows कि how the system is treating them, how inhumane, and how like they just scattered. And you know the cinematographer, I would not like to name him because he has done horrible things allegedly, but
Amir,
he
your
has
voice is
done.
breaking. Your voice is breaking. If you could just hold your this thing, it'll be helpful. Yeah.
So the cinematographer, he did a wonderful job. I would not like to name him. But yeah, and the walking on a scene where Ishan Khattar, sorry, where they both are just walking and it is a desert. And yeah, those two shots were my favorite. Like
Hmm.
favorite मतलब trauma ही दिया है, but yeah.
Favorite trauma. Favorite trauma. Yeah. Well. What else? What else? Any other people? Any other favorite scenes or favorite moments? Samruddhi, Nisha, Jitendra. Anything you guys want to share? Vittal, anything on the favorite scenes or anything like that? Others can also speak. Guys, I'm pressure it out. Yes, Anurag. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, it's very difficult to pick a favorite scene from the movie, but the song "Yaar Mere" is amazing. I think it is a beautiful representation of one of the things that the movie does really well, which is depiction of friendship. And I cannot remember another movie or think of another movie that does friendship this well, paired up with youth and struggles and everything. I think that is the entire song, and I don't know, just the way that they are there. Also, there's when this guy hits Shoaib hits Chandan on the nose. आई couldn't help but remember दिल चाहता है वाला सीन कि तो हर दोस्ती में एक हद होता है और तूने आज वो हद पार कर दी. But also, think of this that it's not completely a roast free friendship because when these two are sitting in the flat when the lockdown has started and he is making fun of his father. कि शोएब बैसाखी पकड़ा दे. So I think only a very, very, very close friend will be able to do that. And I love that scene, that how they can do that, be playful with each other that way. I think this movie does friendship amazingly well.
Does it does. I mean, even the scenes like in the opening, we see Vishal Jetwa's character coming to Ishan Khatter's home and वो जाके चदर में सो गया वहीं पे. फिर the way कितने हक से वो खाना मांग रहा होता है and a lot of these things actually mean like I remember Sarvik used to come ऊपर घर पे बचपन में गाजर के हलवे के लिए and पूछना भी नहीं पड़ता था and बोल के बनवा रहा है अपने every Wednesday. So this is how you represent it without saying it also. So yeah, absolutely understand that. Yeah. Aarti, you wanna go ahead?
हाईवे वाला सीन तो है ही, और लेकिन मुझे उससे पहले भी जब ईशान आता है सूरत और टेरेस पे उसको हक करके मतलब रोता है, वो वाला जो सीन होता है वो मेरा सबसे फेवरेट सीन था इसमें. और एंड में जब चंदन मर गया होता है और मतलब इसने इंटरव्यू में बोला था कि वो बहुत रोया था और नीरज ने बीच से ही कट कर दिया कि नहीं, इतना इतना नहीं दिखाना है रोना. आई डोंट नो आई, मतलब हमको भी ऐसा हुआ कि मूवी पॉज करके मैं मतलब तब रोई थी क्योंकि ऐसा लग रहा था कि नहीं अभी तो और बाकी है. तो वो एक सीन था, लेकिन मुझे सबसे ज्यादा वो टेरेस वाला मतलब ज्यादा वो लगा कि जब ईशान एकदम रो पड़ता है चंदन के पास, तो वो वाला सीन था.
Yeah. Yeah. Vital?
Actually, wanted to talk about that scene only. कि कैसे it's like ना कि you don't need to even talk sometimes. It's just you know what's happening around and like वो मैं वेट ही कर रहा था कि बस ये जाके हक करेगा and that's all the emotions will come back and like कि चल हो गया जो हो गया, just move forward because till that point I was like कि ये लोग कुछ भी कर रहे हैं, still there is something or the other that is failing, like it's like that crab mentality, right? तो कुछ भी कर ले बट नहीं जाने दूंगा तेरे को, मतलब नहीं आने दूंगा उस privilege bracket में. So I was like कि why the hell is this happening, and so that was very like a shocker for me. But rest the movie is amazing. It's a beautiful film.
Absolutely.
So it's,
And I loved your background that you had kept. It was it a reference to the fact that he's an executive producer on the film?
yeah.
Absolute cinema.
I'll,
Absolute.
I'll just keep it again.
Worth it. Absolutely worth it. Yes, Sarvik, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say my favorite scene was also the one where they two fight. And us scene pe I was like, yeah, the movie is not trying to please everyone. They're keeping it as real as they can. And because that is something that you probably don't expect going into the movie. You're like, in dono ka jhagda thodi hoga yaar. And that fight also seems very real, and I'm like, please stop fighting, you guys are such good friends, now please stop fighting. That, and also another scene I really liked was during COVID, how everyone was just on the terrace playing cricket. It was like normalcy, like yes, this happened, so that kind of giving a reference to what actually happened during COVID, like how people would try and find things to do wherever they were stuck. So these two scenes, I'd say, struck with me.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. Shweta, please go ahead.
I want to build upon what Sarvik said, in the sense that when they were fighting, obviously when you're fighting with your friend, you know everything about them. So you would actually take hits below the belt. But they never took hits on each other's identity or whatever crisis they are actually facing out with the world. They would always be like, you know what, you have not studied enough, or that's not my fault that you did not pass in the thing, or the fact that your father is here is because you took the decision to not go to Dubai. But they never ever took hits on each other's identity in that sense. That was lovely. But that was not the. I think one of the beautiful shots that I wanted to mention was when the woman gives them water. What
Oh
a
God, I was gonna say that.
beautiful
But
shot.
sorry, thank you for mentioning.
What a beautiful shot. Everyone is telling her, Amma mat karna, mat dena pani. And she comes, she obviously hides her face, I'm assuming to mask herself from like the virus. And she just gives them water. And the only thing that Chandan, I don't think he even had the energy to look up. So he's only looking at her feet. Who is this person who's like kind of coming in as our savior at this point and giving me water? A beautiful scene, no words, nothing at all, and a lot was conveyed in that sense. So I want to come back to the first question that you had asked. Is it hope? Is it despair? I avoided that movie for such a long time because I like, yaar, ye rula dega. I do not want to watch it. I want to watch it when maybe I'm in a better sense and I don't mind being kicked down a notch or two on that kind of day. But now that I'm kind of remembering all of it, it there are so many points of hope. Yes, it keeps punching you in the gut, but it also kind of gives you that hope. Ki, you know what? No, better things can happen. Yes, everyone can be mean, really mean in the entire world, but it only takes one person to come and say, you know what? Pani to de dunga, mar raha hai. I loved that scene. It was beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. And those there was a subtle thing when she was walking back, I think. The feet, and it was very similar to his mother's feet, and all of that. And वो एक होता है ना, एक माँ है जो बस घूम रही है देश में सबकी मदद कर रही है. That kind of a feeling was there, and only that.
That's actually quite, yeah. I did not even link both of this, but I'm assuming that is why yeah, you can link that. That's actually profound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just that thought that what वो emotion, that kind of, what's the word, वो हमदर्दी है वो, I don't know, it's not still not the right word, but that feeling will be understood by a mother because she's seeing these kids just asking for water and nobody wanting to give, and mother doesn't listen to anybody. वो जाके देख के आई, बोला मरूं मैं मरूं मुझे नहीं फर्क पड़ता, उसे मतलब ही नहीं है. And I mean, in the times of COVID, in smaller ways, these things were also happening, in strange, small, micro ways, bigger ways, in all kinds of ways. Uh, People just find ways to do things you wouldn't expect, I think. That scene represented a lot of things. For me personally, it's my favorite scene of the film. It's just my favorite scene of the film. I didn't expect it to happen. All of us at home, when we were watching it, we were just like, भाई ये ज्यादा हो गया, ये बहुत ज्यादा हो गया, मतलब आई कांट इवन एक्सप्रेस समटाइम्स दो सीन्स व्हिच जस्ट these are scenes written from the heart. I don't think you can, because it was fine अगर वो सीन नहीं होता, कोई कोई कुछ नहीं हो रहा, फिल्म चल रही थी आराम से. You add those scenes because you want to sort of express your faith or your trust in humanity, and motherhood, and emotion and shared all of that, like just uh, that represents Neeraj Ghewan for me personally. I don't think films do this as much. If anybody has to spread any propaganda, it should be this kind. इस सीन की जरूरत नहीं है फिल्म में, कोई जरूरत नहीं है. But you are you are sort of propagating the idea of humanity in some way, and that is the kind of hope you leave with the fact that there will be that one mother somewhere who will understand and you will get it, and sort of कुछ भी आपको एक छाया दे दे, पानी दे दे, कुछ भी दे दे. You will find that one person जो आपको बस help कर दिया और गायब हो गया, and you just, yeah. So that for me was that. And also the scene where Ishan Khatter nahi, Vishal Jetwa's mother comes to know that he's no more, and the way she cries, I was like, भाई, like she इतना भरा हुआ है अंदर, इतना भरा हुआ है अंदर, and it was not a ball, like directly she was balling, ऐसा नहीं कि एकदम अचानक से, it was just building up, पेंटिंग बढ़ रहा है बढ़ रहा है बढ़ रहा है, फिर निकला निकला निकला, सीन काट दिया उन्होंने. और मैं इतना ऐसे हो गया कि अरे कुत्तो, तुम धर्मा वाली पिक्चर हो, पूरा दिखा दो, मैं आई एटलीस्ट फील कैथार्टिक, बट नो, दे वांटेड अस टू लीव विद दैट फीलिंग कि ये चला होगा लंबा और तुम इतने दिखाएंगे हम, बट तुम समझ जाओ कहाँ तक गई ये बात है. But just the way she started, like there's, I said that she was, the way she was doing it. If you don't remember it properly, I would love you guys to just revisit that 15-second moment. मैं तो अंदर से फट गया था तब यार, मतलब क्या क्या कर दिया यार ये. As an actor, as a director, what cue do you give to your actor at that point? As an actor, what do you, can you prepare for that scene? I don't know. Can you be like, ये मेरा सीन आने वाला है 3 दिन बाद में, I have to prepare for it and I'll do it a certain way? और are you not told about what this ending is going to be, and आपको नीरज गेवान बस उस सेकंड एक सेकंड पहले बता रहे हैं कि ऐसा हुआ है और आप माँ हो, कैसा आपको लगेगा, या फिर उतना भी नहीं बोला, खाली बोला आपका बेटा मर गया और जाके बोला एक्शन। मतलब आई एम जस्ट वेरी क्यूरियस कि वो कैसे बताया होगा उस एक्टर को उस टाइम पे कि यार अभी आपको ये करना है, या फिर इस लेवल तक ले जाओ। उसके रीटेक्स होंगे, आई वुड लव टू सी ऑल द टेक्स ऑफ दैट फिल्म, ऑफ दैट शॉट, लाइक थे और कि इसी में कर दिया। आई एम वेरी 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 क्यूरियस अबाउट दैट पर्टिकुलर सीन। शारिक प्लीज।
No, that makes me wonder if like the actor who played the mother is actually a mother, and if that point she was just thinking of how it would feel like losing a child, which probably made it so emotional.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Sorry, I also went on a rant for that. But one very interesting thing is the amount of uh, like love the film is getting, Oscar wide as well. And I want to couple that with the thought that Karan Johar has mentioned, or subtle mention, that Dharma is not going to go in the direction of producing films like this or Dhadak 2 or such. After the merger, sorry, merger है कि जो भी आप बोलोगे, stakes जो बेच दिए उन्होंने, Adar Poonawalla and all these others को, they have said that yeah, we tried this and we are very happy, we supported such films, but I don't think the direction we probably will be going in. What are your thoughts on that? And is this the new Slumdog for the world? Yes, Vittal, what does Scorsese have to say?
Yeah, actually, this is a very big discussion that I had with one of my friend. He's a filmmaker. So we both had the discussion when like I went for the film. Ki, do you think it's a Oscar bait that like they are presenting to the world, or it's just they're like really being genuine for the film and all that? And his point of view was that he thinks that the film could be have been like much better, much grounded and all, but because the Neeraj wanted it to be like um go for Oscars or like go for like these big international festivals and like for make it for some international audience. So he made a film in a certain there's a language of film. Uh, these guys only understand it. So there is a certain language of film that he chose to follow. But like if you see another like a film which is not having any hopes of going for any international thing or anything, the film will have a different trajectory altogether. But I even I don't understand what it is. It's just that he told me that, and I just wanted to tell you guys because I have not like I don't know like how the film could have been different than what it is already. So but yeah, it is a Slumdog in a way because there is something that I'm not saying anything is wrong in this film or like anything is like very overly like projected or anything, but there is I could feel that while I was watching it for the second time that okay, there is certain things that it makes it a very international film. Okay. But yeah, for the Dharma thing, I would say ki, because the films like these are not making any money. So I was there like in the theaters watching it. There were only 10 people with me. So and I went to a film festival and there like it was a huge line and I was like तुम लोगों को तो ये थिएटर में देख लेनी चाहिए थी ना लाइक ये थिएटर में कौन देखता है कहा हम लोग क्योंकि हम फिल्म पसंद है but they were like nahi, nahi, nahi. So if the film is only getting love even if when it was released in theaters still it is getting love in the festivals it shows that the audience even the film going audience is not interested in going in theaters and watching this because they want it in a certain setting maybe certain feeling or maybe they want a full packed theater there is no one in the film like watching it in an empty theater right and the film would hit you with that feeling only but it's just that if the film is not making any business uh I don't know like I don't think ki Dharma is doing justice with like not choosing to go forward but it's their choice I guess.
या आई मीन अगर होमबाउंड के लिए 10 लोग आए थे तो वो तेरी मेरी वाली जो क्या नाम था पिक्चर का उसमें 15 लोग ही आए थे मतलब आई डोंट थिंक देयर वाज अ ह्यूज डिफरेंस सो आई इट्स जस्ट
नो नो
कंफ्यूजिंग नाउ आई थॉट
या आई गेट इट कि वो कोई भी फिल्म नहीं देखने जा रहे हैं, मतलब वैसा ही है कि आई वेंट फॉर निशांची, 4 लोग थे। आई थिंक एक तो अनुराग कश्यप ही था, तो हम 3 ही थे।
सी एवरी
मतलब
fourth guy in India looks like him does not mean it's Anurag Kashyap यहाँ
Yeah,
पे
sometimes
जितेंद्र
it's
also
Abhishek
looks
Kashyap.
like him a little bit
या मे बी बिकॉज सेकंड टाइम उसने सेकंड ऐसे रिलीज ही कर दी, उसने लाइक फर्स्ट कोई देखने ही नहीं गया है। तो ही रिलीज द सेकंड
yeah
वन
yeah
लाइक इन लाइक सडनली ऑन प्राइम।
yes true Anurag what are your thoughts
Yeah, largely agree with what Vittal said, but I don't think this movie is any kind of Oscar bait or any other kind of bait. For one, this movie does not tell you that this is not based on true events and then show you true events footage in the movie. So that is one bait that is not there in this film, as opposed to another film that is getting too much love apparently. But yeah, no,
you mean border 2 yeah I
yeah,
agree with
yeah.
you
संदेश से आते रहेंगे. But yeah, uh, I think okay. Take one very small scene when I think Chandan's mom is sitting. Just she has gotten to know about Chandan's condition, and she's sitting at late at night, and her daughter comes and takes her inside, and tells her to come inside, and she's like, no, I don't want to, because at the end of that street there is a very small, very faint light, and she's just sitting there in hope of. That I'll just see my son appear there or whatever. I think इतना छोटा scene भी इतना the cinematography throughout the movie, this matters a lot because you can't show real lighting on, I don't know what, you have to romanticize it a little bit, and that is something that works very well for the Oscarization of movies. I don't know, Oscar baiting. Yeah, that is one thing that I really loved, the cinematography throughout. So I think it works. I would love to watch this movie win Oscars more than Lapata Ladies.
hmm. Shweta
He just kicked off my conversation, but also Oscarization is a word I'm going to add to my dictionary now. Lapata Ladies is what I wanted to compare this with because Oscar war was happening. A lot of debate was happening online whether Homebound is a better, Oscar movie or Lapata Ladies. And I kind of understand what Vittal was going to like trying to say in the sense that there is a language where Homebound is much more like grounded in reality. It's very intentional in every single frame that it's doing, but it's not in any way they're not trying to commercialize it at all. Whereas Lapata Ladies was like woven in a way that it was commercialized. There are songs in the middle of the movie, for God's sake. Whereas Homebound does not have a single song. The only song that they used, and even then they have like a very clear warning, not a warning, but just a whatever, a line saying that this is not part of the film. This is just for promotional purposes. So you know that this film is going to take its subject matter very, very seriously. It's not. It does not look at how does it make so many whatever amount of money or how many theaters is going to reach or how many asses in the seats do we actually get for for this one. It was I understand what Vithal was saying that there's a language in the film where it is only going to be watched by, let's say, indie cinephiles and people who go to film festivals, or it's supposed to be going into this because it did not try to appease to anyone in terms of commercialization. And I don't mind either. I think Lapata Ladies did a great job. I loved the fact that that subject matter reached so many people because it was accessible. I also understand where Homebound is coming from because it is not commercialized. Maybe yeah, it's not accessible to a lot of people. Not a lot of people will watch it, but it stayed true to whatever it was saying. So it's just a matter of how we, whoever has watched it, can promote it as much as possible. So
Hmm.
yeah, I don't
yeah
think there's a wrong or a right in either sense.
fair well like how the film in English yeah, Lapata Ladies was called Lost Ladies I think Homebound could be called Lost Buddies that's what I'm guys Savik moving on
Back to the breakout room.
No, ditto to what Anurag and Shweta said, and also Vittal said. But I agree with Anurag that this was not Oscar bait. हर कुछ maybe once a decade, like Masan जैसी picture आएगी, and then Homebound जैसी picture आएगी, and these directors know that it's probably not going to do well commercially, but somehow these stories need to be told, and there are still people who will care about these stories. So those people need to hear it, and it just comes out to be such beautiful cinema as well, because it's so grounded and so real. So I don't think the more commercial Indian audience prefers to go watch a movie like Homebound in the theater, because you want to be entertained. You don't want to sit in there for 3 hours and cry every few minutes. That's probably not an everyday individual's idea of have spending 3 hours in the theater and just crying in there. I don't mind it, but commercially, I don't think people usually look for a movie like Masan or Homebound. But I think for the sake of storytelling, these movies need to be released as much as they can be.
Absolutely, man. That's like a wonderful like stamp that you have put, which fairly makes complete sense. Arti, also, guys, just to give you like a hint, we are 5 minutes away from going back to our Samohik. Yes, Arti.
मुझे लगता है कि बनाने के टाइम तो उन्होंने नहीं सोचा होगा कि ऑस्कर के लिए बना रहे हैं। तो ये मुझे लगता है कि एडिटिंग के टाइम हुआ होगा, क्योंकि इसमें ईशान का लव स्टोरी भी था जो इन लोगों ने शूट भी किया है।
Oh, is
और
it?
उसका कोई यस, ईशान ने मतलब इंटरव्यू में ही बोला है। तो इसमें ईशान का पूरा लव स्टोरी का 1 आवर, मोर देन 1 आवर की मूवी पूरा एडिट में कट हुई है। सो इसमें एक सॉन्ग भी था, और वो मतलब बोला कि इतना अच्छा सॉन्ग था और लव स्टोरी भी अच्छी थी, लेकिन वो कट करना पड़ा। तो मुझे लगता है कि एडिटिंग के बाद उन्होंने ऑस्कराइजेशन के लिए शायद मतलब वो किया होगा। अदरवाइज मुझे नहीं लगता कि बनाने के पहले कोई ऐसे सोचता होगा कि अब ये मूवी ऑस्कर जा सकती है। मतलब नीरज तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि ऐसा सोचा होगा। तो ये है कि बाद में तो मतलब एडिटिंग ऐसे ही हुआ है कि ये ऑस्कर के लिए जा सके। लेकिन मैं तो अभी भी वो पहले पॉइंट पे थोड़ा स्टिक रहूंगी कि मुझे ऑब्वियसली हमें होपफुल रहना है एंड में। लेकिन कई लोगों के लाइफ में वो होप कितनी स्ट्रगल के बाद आती है, और शायद वो अपने जनरेशन में वो होप देख भी नहीं पाएंगे। तो मुझे वो एंडिंग में अभी भी वो लगता है कि उसका घर नया बन रहा है वो दिखा दिया, और वो सब तो उसमें थोड़ा
Hmm.
वो दिखा सकते थे। लेकिन ऑस्कर का मुझे लगता है कि इन्होंने एडिटिंग ऐसा ध्यान से मतलब सोच के ही किया है कि ये पूरा ऑस्कर के लिए जा सके, मतलब और कुछ मसाला नहीं रखा है इसमें, और कुछ नहीं रखा है।
Hmm. True, but again, by the thought of it being Oscar bait or not, it could also be that the intention of like Neeraj Devan is not being questioned, but maybe the way it will be interpreted or remembered or represented could be that okay, now we have another Oscar film that is of the similar struggle category, so to say. uh, I don't know. I'm just saying it from that point of view where the intention is not probably to make it that, but it might become that in the eyes of a global audience. I don't know, and which is why sometimes it irks me when a film of a different nature is not does not go to the next level. For example, which is why I was fine with Identities going, but again, it for some reason people suddenly started hating the film almost कि क्या ये क्या वो which was also strange because when it came out people were like we have a great film in our hands and whatnot, but that changed completely. RRR had a very mixed thing. All of that happened, but in terms of I just feel like visual language wise, India has a variety of editing patterns and storytelling patterns, and not all get represented on the global stage. And a film like Homebound also has to go through the Oscarization of editing that Aarti mentioned to probably be more palatable, so to say. So yeah, just that thought is something I was sort of thinking about. But yeah, Jitendra, yours might be the last point we take, and